Learn alive, it's why you survive.
Earlier today, for those of you who don't know, I watched a briefing on CNN, which featured the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, as he talked about the bombing operation the United States Air Force participated in last night when they attacked 3 of the nuclear sites in Iran. The Fordham site, which was the biggest of the 3, saw the debut of the B-2 heavy bomber of the United States Air Force, each bomber carrying 2 33,000-pound bunker penetrating, busting bombs. 7 of these B-2s, with each carrying these 2 bombs for a total of 14 bombs, hit the Fordham site. General Kane said they haven't seen the bomb damage reports yet, but they're very confident that they did what they were supposed to do, which was take that nuclear enrichment capability out. Later, the Iranians came on, public air and said that other than minor damage to the opening and exits of the facility, is pretty much intact. So I don't think anyone really knows for sure, as we obviously don't have people on the ground who can do that kind of assessment. I'm sure it's being done by satellite photograph and other kinds of intelligence capabilities. But some things you should know about the operational aspects of the raid, which General Kane was talking about. One is the aircraft flew from Whiteman, Missouri, all the way to Iran to make this attack. 37 hours in the air, which required multiple refueling efforts. When they got into Iran, it required escorts. So if the Iranian Air Force had sent jets up to shoot these bombers down, we had the protection there to protect them. But according to General Kane, there was no resistance at all from Iranian air defense capabilities, i.e., air to surface, air to air missiles being fired at these planes. The Iranian Air Force didn't send fighters up to shoot them down. General Kane said they went in fully undetected and were able to drop their payloads and then get back out without being hit. Some people compared this raid to the recent Top Gun movie, Maverick 2, where it showed in the movie the U.S. Air Force attacking a mountainous region and hitting their target with pinpoint accuracy. So from a operational standpoint, the raid was very, very successful and showed the capabilities of the United States military. Also, General Kane said that on the other 2 nuclear sites, they were hit with Tomahawk cruise missiles that were launched from a submarine, and I think he said a destroyer from over 400 miles away. That's just incredible to think about the kind of accuracy that it would take and the technology that exists today in these weapon systems to conduct this kind of attack. Well, one then has to ask, what's going to be the fallout from these attacks? The White House is saying, through the Secretary of Defense and other spokespeople, that this attack was limited to only the nuclear enrichment sites of Iran to destroy any capability they might be trying to develop to make an atomic bomb. That they didn't hit other military installations, that they didn't attack civilian installations. And so what the White House would like to have happen at this point, if I understand them correctly, is, let's come back to the tables, let's negotiate, let's end the war between Israel and Iran, let's calm things down in the region. China is calling for the same thing. Medvedev, the former prime minister of Russia, came out with some very strong language, and probably speaking for himself, I hope so, and not President Putin, said that Russia should give nuclear warheads to Iran. And Kim Jong-un of North Korea also said that they could give Iran nuclear warheads to make them nuclear capable without having to develop them on their own. But for the most part, outside sources, at least in the press, are saying, okay, let's end the escalation. Let's not let this go further. The Iranians, for their part, came out and said today, at least their parliament voted to close the important Strait of Hormuz, which about 40% of the world's oil has to go through. That straight, narrow pass that empties from the Red Sea into the Arabian Sea, which Iran controls for the most part. Now, the parliament doesn't make the final decision. It has to go to their National Strategic Council. And then I think Khamenei, their leader, will make the final decision. But if that actually happens, if they close down the Strait of Hormuz, you're going to see oil, the price of oil skyrocket. In fact, I read a report just a few minutes ago that said many of the oil tankers aren't even attempting to go through the strait. They're turning around before they get there, and they'll find another way or destination to transport their oil. So that could be a major fallout from this, an economic fallout. The United States doesn't import as much oil as it used to from this area. I read one report that said 5%. I don't know for sure what the number is. Another report said the Chinese get about 50% of their oil for this region. So it would definitely not be in the interest of the Chinese to see this strait get shut down. So whether the Iranians are bluffing or not, we don't know yet, because the higher strategic body hasn't made a decision. There were some missile and drone attacks directed at Israel following the attack on Iran. And the Iranians also said that because of the United States involvement, there were some reports that they were basically saying the bases in the Middle East that are manned by the United States can be attacked now too. And that not just military, but American civilians and citizens could be subject to terror attacks and that kind of thing. And even Homeland Security has issued an alert for major American cities to be on the watch for potential, what we call terror sleeping cells that have been activated that now go after Americans in American cities. So I don't think anyone knows for sure until things start to happen what is really going to unfold. These are my opinions on things too. I don't have all the right answers because I don't have knowledge of the facts of everything that's going on. A lot of this is held close hold, by different governments and things. So all we can do is kind of look at things and hope, we can identify trends and ways that things are going. So I encourage you to stay tuned. Hope this information is helpful to you. More to follow out here.